do. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Halloween, people of the detailing and car culture world. Hope everybody is out there doing great. Got your costumes picked out, ready for handing out some candy to kids. That's really what it's all about. Seeing those kids. And gosh, if you think back, remember back when you were a kid, I wonder what possibly your favorite costume was. I have a costume of myself as a kid, probably like 5 or 6 years old, and my sister's either 2 or 3, and I'm dressed up as a ghost. And I remember how cool that was. I remember I grew up in the early 70s too, so I was born in 69. And then we had those plastic masks that had a strip on the back of them, and that was like your high-tech costume. Unless your mom made you a really cool one. Anyway, today we are going to do our live, and I want to... Well, let me kind of set this up. So I was on a conversation earlier today with Jonathan Michael, and we were talking about all of the trainings that are for detailing and kind of what's missing. And this, I want to cover like a basic outline of how you would start a detailing business. And I think that a lot of times people are drawn into maybe paying for a class or something, and it's, while gathering all of the information is great, having being in a group setting only and having what is talked about as far as a group setting is not specific to you maybe necessarily as a detailer. So I just kind of want to go through some of the steps, tell a little bit about how I got to where I am in the industry and how I started my detailing business, a lot of the mistakes that I made along the way that I would, hopefully be able to help somebody out. A lot of times we come on here and we're talking to the detail community who is already very established. And you would think that even the guys who are really already established, maybe, and this comes from the coaching side and working with so many guys over the last, especially the last, say, 10 years that I've moved more to the supplier side than having my own detailing business. But even the guys who are set up and running their business, a lot of times the remedial stuff is what they missed along the way. And that is because there was nobody there for them at the beginning to kind of help guide them. And you just kind of walk into everything blindly. So what I want to do is just kind of go through. I made myself an outline so I can stay sort of in order. And I want to talk about the steps that you can take if you are interested in starting your own detailing business, hopefully avoiding some of the pitfalls that are easy to fall into. All right. So when I started my detailing business, and this is where the catalyst for this came from this morning, we were talking about, some people come into a business and they get a business loan. They buy an existing business that's already up and running, and that's kind of like a plug and play situation. As a matter of fact, when I think about when I sold my business, that's kind of how it was for Dustin. When, taking nothing away from him, he has grown the stuffing out of that thing since he bought it from me. But he came in and he got a business loan and he bought a fully functioning turnkey operation. And that is definitely one way to go about it. A lot of guys will start the way that I started, though. And that is, you can hop into having a detailing business if you get a bucket and some soap and some towels, really, then you've got what it takes to start making money. And that's how I did it as a side hustle. The honest story of why I started my detailing business was I wanted a Rolex watch, and I was a musician and a waiter, and there was no way that I could afford that. It was blatantly obvious to me that I wasn't going to have the money for that. So I started detailing on my 2 days off from being a waiter. And within a couple months, I saved up enough money to get that dang watch, and I still have it to this day. So I had a goal, and that was what I started for. Little did I know at the onset that it would turn into a career and an obsession and offer me so much in life. Like I feel I found my true meaning and doing what I absolutely love to do. So those are kind of the two different ways that you can go into this. Now, while it's easy to go into it and start it as a hustle, if you do want to grow your business, you have to start to organize things and take steps. And detailing is only half of the equation. And I think if you look at it in the long run picture, it's actually more than half of the equation. It's I mean less than half the equation, because eventually if you want to start growing your business and you don't have the business acumen side of things down, then you're just going to be spinning your wheels and never really getting ahead and never able to take those steps. So let's just kind of get into some of the stuff that we can do. So maybe you have a car that you like. A lot of times that's kind of where it starts out. I know when I was a kid and I got my first car, well, even before that, I used to wash my dad's truck for him. I've always been into cars since I was a little kid. You know, I had Hot Wheel cars. I would play with those. I kind of grew up. My parents got divorced when I was young, so I grew up with my dad. I spent a lot of time by myself, and I would play with Hot Wheels cars. Loved cars. I remember I had the tunnel car wash thing for Hot Wheels. I had all kinds of stuff for it. Sorry, and I was just into it, right? Then I got my own first car. I would wash that thing and wax it every weekend. My parents thought that I was gonna rub the paint right off of that 1980 Pontiac Sunbird. So and then I would do it for my dad, and I would, he would give me an allowance, and I would take care of his car and the family cars. I just have always been into it. So as I moved on through life, I started playing music, and I was traveling and a musician and waiting tables, and I was a drunk. I went to rehab twice. It's crazy, crazy stuff. But I'm going to fast forward all the way through most of that stuff to after I had gotten sober and I had moved to San Diego. And I was waiting tables. I was in my early 30s, and I was just to that point where it just wasn't going to make sense anymore for me to be a waiter, and I didn't want to go into managing. So I, again, wanted a Rolex watch. I started detailing on my 2 days off from being a waiter, and I made the money to buy that. And I realized really quickly that I could make, and this was back in 2004, so if you got $250 for a full detail that took you 5 or 6 hours, that was like actually doing great back then. I realized really quick I could make a lot more money detailing cars. I didn't have people, the competition of other waiters vying for a table and all the politics of working with all those people. And I just really found what I like to do. Now, I walked into the whole thing completely blind, like a lot of the guys do. And part of what I want to be able to do is to give back and help people with that information that would have been so helpful and would have put me on a fast track to success. So let's talk about some of those things. When you want to start a detailing business, it's good to kind of have a passion for it. If you're a sloppy person and your car looks like a mess and like you just are generally don't have an eye for detail, well, it's probably not going to be your best bet to go into doing something that's cleaning like that. You can get a lot of practice, again, on your own car. And if you're looking at doing this for a business, you probably are the kind of person that already likes that. There's a lot of online resources. There's videos that you can watch on YouTube, which is really cool. But I would say to use caution and take everything with a grain of salt. Most of the things that we see where people are trying to teach somebody detailing are done in a group setting, and they're not really specific to you, but much like what we're doing right now, it's going to be a really pretty cool outline of information. If you can find a mentor, somebody who's already successful or shown success in the industry, well, that's a really good person to kind of sync up with too. Another thing that I think is really big pretty early on as you're feeling your way around is to find a company that you like the culture and the products and the people, and just kind of go in with them. And doing that for me put me in a place in this industry that I never would have been in nor achieved had I not done it. A lot of the guys are really big product jumpers, and if you're jumping all around from product to product, always looking for the next shiny new object, you can't get really, really good with what you have. So finding a company that you like, the people, the culture, and the products, the branding, team up with them and make yourself the best. And when I say that, make these companies earn your business. I tell this to people who are coming to work with Owner's Pride, which I'm obviously affiliated with Owner's Pride, right? And we have to earn your business. If we're not doing our part, how would I expect you, if I'm giving you crappy customer service, I'm ignoring you, and we're not doing good, how would I expect for you to want to stay with me? It's going to be the same thing for you and your customers. If you treat people like crap and you're not doing a good job, then they're not going to stay with you. Getting those people that are going to stay with you is key to growing. So check out, take in all kinds of stuff. Don't limit yourself to only watching some videos on YouTube or watching a group thing. There are business books, and these are like going to a college class, like the stuff that you can learn. And there's 2 business books that I would suggest anybody that I do work with on the coaching side of the world, I make them read Building a Story Brand by Miller. No, I don't think his name is Jonathan Miller, but for some reason that's the name that's in my head at the moment. It is a great way to look at your customer service and craft your message to your customers. And then my second one is the E-Myth. This one, the kind of the catalyst is this lady starts a pie shop because she has her grandma's pie recipe. She loves baking pies, but just like you guys with a detail shop, as you do that, you start getting busier and busier. You got more responsibilities. All of a sudden, you're the guy who is putting out your social media ads, detailing the cars, closing the sales, ordering products, washing the towels. And as all of those things come on, realistically, if you're doing a good job, you're going to have to start growing your business and bringing other people on. That's what this is about. It's kind of putting some of that ego to the side and actually growing your business. Fantastic read. So that right there, those 2 books are going to put you so far ahead of anybody else. And then to further say, if we're going to treat this like a business and not just a side hustle, right? So what does that mean? Well, having some goals set out for you, but you can do that with a side hustle too, absolutely. How about things like being legal? If you're going to do this and you're trying to grow it and make money, perhaps it would be a good idea to get a tax business license. Then you can start writing everything off as well. I know that insurance sucks, but having insurance, if you mess something up, say you're a mobile detailer, somebody walks by, they trip over your cord, you get sued and you're done. Your business is over before it even got off the ground. Using a CRM. We have a lot of guys who are in our industry who they just kind of skip over some of that stuff and they never implement a CRM, so they can't efficiently grow their business. You're stuck. When we're talking about setting those goals, you want to have like short-term goals, like, hey, I want to have a 21 millimeter long throw polisher and I want to offer ceramic coatings. You got to have a little bit longer of a goal, like a 5-year goal, and then your big, hairy, audacious goal. Like, where do you see this going in the big picture? Some people use things like a dream board or something, and you put them up there, and that's always a great idea too. If you have a vision for where you want to go, and you put that vision in front of you, and you continually are striving to go for that, it's going to be a lot better than just saying it and then kind of falling back into complacency, which is, I think, where a lot of people get stuck. You know, you do what you know and what you're comfortable with, and it's easy to slide right back into that. But that's not going to help you grow a business. As we talked about analytics last week, that's something else that a lot of guys who are in business, even for a while, they may not have really put this into their workflow and into their business, and it's really, really important. So, you know, what analytics are we going to look at? We're going to look at how much money we have in the bank. I think that not as relevant when you're just starting out, but looking at your analytics so you can make forecasts, as you can learn how your business is going to ebb and flow. A lot of things go in patterns and they happen over and over, like the September slowdown that everybody just went through. Also, there's things that have to do with compliance, and some of that is, you know, you can run this business, you can be a mobile detailer where you live. In San Diego, you're not really supposed to have water going down the drain. It goes right out into the ocean. It's the same thing for wherever you live. You don't want to pollute everything and have stuff going into the fish's eyes. And when I'm out here, I got to surf in that water too. So doing things legal and right just makes sense. If you're going to try to set this up for your business and do this for a living, don't try to cut all the corners and be sleazy, because it's not going to get you ahead. As far as those insurances go, you can operate, and I would say the minimum that I would say anybody should really be running a detailing business with, and this only very little covers you against that slip and trip, somebody falling over your cord or slipping in your water, but that would be general liability insurance. If you have a detailing rig, you're going to want to have commercial insurance for that. Yeah, it costs more, but you know what? If you get into a car accident and you have a detailing rig and you don't have proper insurance, you just have personal insurance and you have logos all over it, and that's a business vehicle, you're probably going to get screwed. Paying into taxes, yeah, taxes suck, but it's part of the game. Part of the game as well. When I started my business in 2004, 2008, I bought my house in San Diego, and 2000 and whatever the heck 8 years ago was, I sold my business. Now, if you're just taking your money and pocketing the money, you're not really showing any income. If you're not paying yourself a realistic salary and you want to sell this business in the future, that's all going to be marks against you, You can't just not pay yourself all the time to falsely inflate the profits of your business. Not gonna work. The thing is, you got to do stuff right. Then we think about how we're gonna treat our money and how we're gonna look at our money. There's of course, I'm certified with Mike Michalowicz Fix This Next, and another one of the methods that or books that he has or methods that he teaches is Profit First. And essentially, that's having 5 different bank accounts that your money comes into. So all of the money comes into a general fund account. For every couple weeks, you want to take 5%, 10%, whatever you deem necessary, that you have a goal for your profit. That's just profit for the business. You're going to put that into its own separate bank account. That money's just going to accrue until the end of the quarter. And then just like a stock, how a stock, pays out distributions and everything, you can look at that money every quarter after you get 3 to 6 months of business expenses built up in there, right? So, keep the numbers super simple. Say that it costs you $100 a month to run your business. All of a sudden you've got $300 or $600 in there. Now you can start taking half of that money out as a distribution to yourself, and that's just fun money that you can do with whatever you want. Not even to put back into your business, because that's the profit that you're working for your business. So you got some money accruing in there, and there'll be some bonus money that comes out to you as the owner. You want to have an account for your taxes. If you knew how frickin' many people I talk to that, and this is stuff that you don't see on the surface, but they're way behind on their taxes, or they're paying payments because they didn't handle their taxes properly. Putting the money into a separate account that you've always got the money in there, because you know what? You know that the taxes are going to come. And if we're doing all this by percentage, it really kind of separates that money out. You want to have an account for your employee pay and your pay, and something for where your products are going to be, the fund that you're going to buy the products and your materials out of. And any of these things that we're talking about, if you're looking for help, mentoring, or coaching or anything, find somebody to work with you kind of one-on-one. It's going to be so much more beneficial than simply a group thing. So we've kind of gone over some of the steps that you need, some of the things that you need to start out with. And now let's talk a little bit about some of the tools and the equipment that you will need if you're going to start detailing. And usually these are things that come before, which it's not necessarily in the proper order, because if you took care of some of the housework and the business stuff first, you'd be a lot better. But this is the opposite way. So what do people need for starting a detailing business? Essentially, as I said earlier, if you got some soap and a bucket and some towels, you could be washing somebody's car and making some money. To do it right, maybe we're going to upgrade just a little bit from that. You want to have some nice microfiber towels. They are just the towel of choice for rubbing on nice soft car paint. Again, I think it's great if you find a company that you can really resonate with. I would like for that to be Owner's Pride. But whoever it is, find a company that you like the products, the culture, and the people, and become the best with that. Really dive into their system. Kind of like using, a credit card. If you're using a whole bunch of different credit cards, you're not really accruing all of those miles or points or whatever. If you stick to one of them, it just works out better. You're going to have a polisher down the road. Now, a lot of guys, they want to start out with everything. And this is, again, where we have that two separations. Some people go out and they get a business loan and they buy all of this gear and they rent a shop and they do all of those steps. Some people really tiptoe into it. I tell a lot of guys, if you're just starting out getting into this, you're better to get a polisher that, maybe off of Harbor Freight or something that is going to essentially do the job, and you can start making money with it, and then we can upgrade down the road. You don't have to have all of the best gear to start out with. It's probably going to make you better. I'm to be quite honest, when I started my detailing business, I had one of those frickin' Sears and Roebucks 2-handle with the 9-inch hood that you tied over the top of it. That's really what I started with. I upgraded eventually to a Cyclo, and then I got a Porter cable, which I just thought I was the king of the world, and my hands were really, really numb. All right, so products and chemicals. You have like a rinseless wash, which is going to be really important to you, a car wash soap, some kind of a sealant, some kind of a tire dressing, some kind of an interior dressing. You're going to need clay. I prefer a clay towel over a clay bar. An all-purpose cleaner. That's going to be good for stuff on the inside and outside. Look for things that stick around the 11 on the pH scale. If you get much higher than that, you're going to get yourself in trouble on that inside of a car. You want to make sure, if you have these products, that if you're putting them somewhere where they're going to be stored properly. If you live somewhere that's really, really cold and you're just storing these outside and they all freeze, that could cause problems for you down the road. These are just all things to take into account. So if you're starting out and you're mobile and, maybe if you're in a cold area, which crazy as it is, I saw a post today from Jonathan up in Anchorage, Alaska, and he is a mobile detailer in Anchorage, Alaska. That's crazy. That makes me feel like kind of a wuss for having cold hands when it was 50 degrees out here in San Diego and I had to detail a car in the winter. Okay, so your products. You need all these products to detail a car. If you're just starting out, getting too much stuff, if you don't have a place to store it, kind of silly. Syncing up with a company, again, is probably going to offer you some kind of discount, and there's going to be a lot of advantages to that. Make sure you're making the people earn your business. Next, something that a lot of guys don't think about, and that I think is really important, is even if you're doing your detailing business and it's just you, and this is something that I did wrong for sure. I had the way that I wanted stuff to be done in my head, and that was cool. I knew what I wanted to have done. I knew the order I wanted it done. But anytime I would bring a new employee in, I was not really being fair to that person, because I was not setting my expectations for what they were going to do in a really proper way. And I was I think back, pretty much a top-down, like if you didn't understand something, I would more just be a douche and degrading to you. I don't know. I don't know why I was like that. It's stupid. So don't be like that, first of all, because that's not good. But start treating your business, even if you're never going to grow your business, to more than just you working by yourself in a mobile rig or out of your own home garage. Start making some SOPs for that. And I oftentimes I talk about, like, When I started detailing, there was no Facebook. We didn't have social media. We had these like bulletin board things that you could go on there. And now there's so much more of the stuff. But we didn't also get all of our information from videos, and now you can get information from videos. Or if you want to start writing these SOPs, like it can be an arduous task. It can be kind of daunting if you're looking at like, oh, I have to do this and you've never done it. Well, you can just go into ChatGPT and start putting down all of the steps that you want to do. So say you're going to make an SOP for washing a car. So you're going to say you want to fill up your 3-gallon bucket with water. We want to put 1 capful of Eco Wash in. If the car is really dirty and has big chunks of dirt on it, you want to hose the car off. If the car's just city dirty, all you got to do is put your microfiber towel or sponge, whatever your wash media of preference is, into the bucket. I want you to start on the front quarter of the panel of the car, start on the top, go all the way around the car. And then if you want to, it's whatever you want to do. If you are picking up what I'm putting down. And then you say, hey, for my simple car wash, we're going to use Ceramic Plus as a drying aid. So we're going to put a shot of that on the panel, dry the panel, do that all the way around the car. After that, we're going to put tire dressing on. We're going to black out the wheel wells. But the point is, for all of the jobs that you have in your business, make it so basically somebody could pick up a manual and just say, oh, this is how I do it. And then if you do want to hire people, and maybe that's not even your idea at the beginning, but when you get to the point when it's time to do that, so many of these things, because you've done them slowly over time in building, will already be done, and it will just make things easier. There's a lot of times I talk to guys who have been in business for a while. They're at this inflection point where they know that they have to expand, they have to start growing, but they just have a trouble doing it because it's too overwhelmed. Now they're so busy with all of the work. If we go back to right here, they're so busy with all of the work that they have coming in that going backwards now and starting to do the things that they should have been doing as they were building. That's why it's called building. Instead of trying to be from right here to right here, you got to take the steps up. And I think I was watching Rod and Jody's podcast today, and they had Juan Gonzalez on there. And it was talking about enjoying the moment or living in the moment. You know, so many times we think we're focused on what's next, on the next step, on the next thing. Maybe it's even part of American society and culture. You know, you go and you get this thing, and you lust after it, and you think about it, and you think about it, then you get it. It gives you happiness for only a minute, and then you're on to the next thing. But it can be the exact same. Okay, so SOPs, a CRM system. Again, this is something that we didn't have really when I started detailing. I kept all of my stuff was in a month at a glance, week at a glance calendar, and it was all handwritten. There was no chance of an email marketing campaign or anything like that. So, imperative to your business, especially if you're going to stay small or you're going to grow big. Doesn't matter. Having that organization and structure of your customers and a way to contact them and have notes on them. You don't want to just be one and done. This is not like when you're in your 20s and you're going in the bar where you just meet somebody and you hook up one time and you don't want to see them again. You do want to see these people over and over, and you want to make sweet love to that paint. Okay. So creating a positive experience and a positive feedback loop also very important. One of the first things that you're going to want to do in starting a detailing business is have a Google My Business and feed that thing every day. And it's really important to get reviews on there. I would do whatever I had to do to ask people to leave me a review. I know I had a appliance delivered to my house, and the delivery person, after he was done, when I was paying, he asked me for a review, and he handed me his tablet, his iPad thing right there, and I left a review. Kind of funny thing about that is after he left, I noticed there was a problem, so I wouldn't have given him such a stellar review. But it had already been done. Very, very important. You got to have a Google My Business. That is going to help you come up in web searches, and It's just, you got to do it. You have to have a website, or do you have to have a website? Depends on where you're going, you know. A social media page is cool, but if you want to be coming up in searches and you're trying to sell more expensive jobs, having a website that looks professional, that is a good reflection of you and your business and has your offerings is going to be pretty darn important. So having a website is very, very important. Now then, we start thinking about having a marketing strategy. Again, this is where you can utilize either a mentor that you're working with, or you see all of the stuff that you enjoy, what resonates with you, and start thinking about that and start kind of trying to emulate that. And even more important than that, you guys start thinking about who the customers that you're going to work with are going to be, and start trying to do what is going to push the buttons in their brain. Like a lot of times I'll see somebody who makes a high-end detailing video, and they've got like some crazy rap music on it talking about shooting somebody or or murdering somebody. And while I have absolutely no problem with rap music, sure, you got to think of what is the customer who you're trying to get to, what's going to resonate with them, and if maybe you're looking for really affluent people, what are they listening to, or what are they doing, and try to meet them where they are. Don't try to make people fight to get to you. Go to where they are. You're definitely your social media pages, and you want to post to those all the time. I am a huge fan of doing short video format. I think that it's still underutilized even now. And my recipe for the short videos, especially for detailers, is going to be problem, solution, authority. So you point out a problem, you say what the solution is, thereby you're the authority. And really, we're just trying to grow these with authority. A lot of times I talk to guys and they want to, they're like, oh, I don't have the best camera equipment, or blah, blah, blah. These are not meant to be Hollywood, produced movies. These are down and dirty, quick and easy. You want to show a problem. It's social media, for goodness sake. So you want to show something kind of sensational that's going to capture somebody's attention. Tell what the solution is. You're the authority. Problem, solution, authority. And you want to be posting regular. Customer testimonials are always great. Service information. If you do have that website, you want to link something back to it. If you do have the CRM also, you want to have that all hooked in so everything is working like the engine of a car. This is a little bit of one. Especially as you're starting out in business, that word of mouth is going to be your best friend. So when you find people, just like, if you find somebody and you do good work for them and they're happy with you, ask them for a referral. Like, literally ask them. They probably have another friend who has a nice car who wants to get theirs done too, and that just opens up another whole door for you. Then we come to the part, and there is so darn much to this. Like, you really just think it's easy to start a detailing business, but man, there's really, really so much to it. Again, I'm just going to say, if you find somebody such as myself or a similar person who has the experience and has done it before, going one-on-one with that person is going to be a lot better, and they're going to really be able to help you get to where you need to be. One of the things that I also see in this detailing world, and I noticed as soon as I moved over here 20 years ago, you don't have any kind of a retirement plan. You don't have a pension that you're going to draw on down the road. And a lot of guys are like, oh, I'm just going to invest all my money back into my business and I'll sell my business. Selling a detailing business may or may not happen. It's not the most common of things. Selling my business was a little bit of an anomaly. I think that partially I was a rep at another company, and I was given somebody, installer status for a ceramic coating, and it was turnkey, and they were already moving here, so it just is the way that it worked out, and it worked out good. But you need to have some kind of a retirement plan for yourself. Never do I want to say that I'm going to give you like financial advice to go buy this stock or this stock. I do highly suggest you talk to your CPA or whoever does your taxes. And that's another thing. Once you have your own business, doing your own taxes, it gets trickier and trickier because you want to be able to maximize and take all of the legal write-offs that you have and not get yourself in trouble. So ask that person for guidance on where you should be putting your money. For example, when I started my business, I had a traditional IRA where it was knocking that money off. So in a traditional IRA, you pay, say if you do $100,000 in sales and you put $5,000 into a traditional IRA, you're going to pay taxes on $95,000 right now. And the idea is when you retire, you would be at a lower tax bracket. So you pay the taxes on that money when you take it out. A Roth IRA, you're going to pay your money on the taxes now, just like regular income. You're going to put that into a Roth IRA, and when you go to take that money out in the future, it is going to be already taxed, so you don't have to pay any taxes on it. And then for the guys who are maybe say a bit bigger of a business, so I started with a traditional, then my tax accountant moved me to a Roth IRA. And then when I started really doing well, he moved me into a SEP IRA, which is self-employed. And that you can put 20% of your gross in. So you can put a pretty nice chunk of your money in there tax sheltered. But again, this is what you want to talk to your tax advisor. And then when you do go to that and you set something up, there are people like I use Charles Schwab and Vanguard. There are advisors in there that will kind of help guide you, and they'll ask you specifically what your needs are. A really big lesson in life is don't just listen to some jackass who's giving you stock tip advice, because they really don't know. And if you lose your money, you can't really give advice really to anybody, because if they lose that money, they'll be really salty at you, and that's just no fun at all. Take a little break here to say what's up, Mark. How are you doing? I hope that your wife is doing well and recovering from her surgery. I do. Okay. And then lastly, on that retirement side, also having an exit strategy, or at least if you're beginning a business, have an end in mind, because there will come a time. For me, it was in my late 40s, like physically, I had to have a hip replacement and this arthritis that's, blah. It just is, it's not something that I can do to go out and physically detail a car and polish cars all day. Can't do it anymore. It's not going to happen. So you got to have a plan in mind, or at least be thinking forward to what your next move is, or what you're going to do to get out of your business, or how it's going to unwind. And if you have a retirement account set up, that's a huge step. That money you can't really touch until you're 59 and a half or 60, and you're probably going to be working a little bit later than that, realistically. But it's really good to have there. And then thinking of how you're either going to scale that business down the road. Say if you're 20 years old, that your late 40s, early 50s is not even really on your radar yet. But I will let you in on a little secret. It's coming, and it's coming really fast. Sure is. And then for one thing further, that is just something that all these insurances suck, but having some kind of a medical insurance in place and a short-term disability insurance for you guys that have a small business. I remember one time I fell off a ladder. I did not break anything. I was right in my own driveway at my own place. And I thought to myself, man, if I would have fallen down as a solopreneur and broke my leg or something, my business would have just been closed. So some kind of a short-term disability insurance, and that those are not very expensive. I have that now when I could have a broken leg and sit here and run my mouth, not a problem. But having a short-term disability insurance and some kind of medical insurance is just imperative for your financial well-being. If anybody out there who has seen this is interested in having some one-on-one discussions, we absolutely can do that. You can go to my website, dannwilliams.com, and take the business assessment. Or if you're brand new to detailing, I'm absolutely happy to, work with you right from the beginning and kind of start lining things up that are going to be definitely focused on you. The business coaching that I do is really good deal. I only take on no more than 6 to 10 people ever because I have a full-time job also. $199 a month. We'll meet 4 times a month. We'll make plans. Everything is measurable. And as a matter of fact, if you come and take business coaching from me and you put in the work, you can honestly tell me that you put in the work that we talk about. Everything that we do will be measurable via analytics. And if you think it's a waste of time, I will give your money back. I don't think anybody else says that. DANNWilliams.com. Take your business assessment, hit me up on social media, or call me at 619-952-4814, and we can make a plan for you specifically. Everybody who's in the Owner's Pride Network of Authorized Installers also has access to mentoring. That's absolutely free. It's a little bit not quite as detailed and closely worked together, but that is out there for you too. All right, that takes us to our questions, our Q&A section. If anybody out there has a question and they want to ask it, I can see these things popping up. And it looks like I got somebody who I need to help out here too. So let's just hammer through some of these questions. And the first ones are the DIY questions. And today I went on to ChatGPT and I asked for the top 10 questions for DIY detailers and professional detailers. So let's see what she spit out for me. What are the essential tools and products needed to start detailing my car at home? Great question. We kind of covered that, what you would need for a business, and let's see what that is. So you can detail your car with some Eco Wash and a towel and some ceramic detailer. Now, we get into the weeds of what is a detail. Do you mean like a full detail where you're going to extract the carpet and use a steam cleaner and polish the paint? That's different than saying I'm detailing my car and you're just doing a really great wash. Doing a really great wash is where you're going to start. Taking care of your car on a regular basis is a great place to start. You need some Eco Wash or some soap, some microfiber towels, a bucket, maybe some tire dressing. You can really start with just those things. If you want to go into it deeper, having a polisher and some compound and some clay and some iron remover, it can just keep going and keep going. Question number 2, how do I properly wash my car to avoid scratches and swirl marks? I swear this question comes up every single time. The safest way to wash your car, in my opinion, is going to be to use Owner's Pride Eco Wash. I prefer that over a car wash soap. I feel that the emulsifiers and the polymers kind of cushion the dirt and keep it safer. That is how I wash all of my own cars at home. Some people use a 2-bucket method. Personally, I just use 1 bucket. I feel like all of the dirt kind of comes out and gets pulled down to the bottom of the bucket as I dip my towel. And I prefer a microfiber towel, a thin microfiber towel, for what I use to wash cars. That is my wash media of preference. Some people like sponges. Some people, like a mitt or a Chanel thing or a thing with fingers on it. I'm a simple man. Okay. Question number 3. What is the correct way to use a clay bar on my vehicle? Okay. So if you're a DIY person and you're going to wash your car and you want to clay it, the big deal is you want to use, and we're not going to polish it. If you're going to polish your car, it doesn't matter. You can use a heavy clay bar. It's going to mar the paint. But you're going to polish it, so it doesn't matter. If you're just going to wash your car and use some clay on it, I would get a light clay. I prefer a clay towel over a clay bar. Wash the car while it's still wet. If it has some, Eco Wash on there, or rinseless wash, that's going to be better because there's a little bit of lubricity. And then I'm going to use a detail spray like Slick or Ceramic Detailer. Squirt that onto the panel. Clay the panel lightly. You don't have to rub real hard. Essentially what's happening is the clay goes over the surface. These little nubs or fallout that's embedded into your clear coat. It's going to shear everything off at the surface. You might still have a little bit of stuff that's down in the pores, kind of like those Biore strip things. And if you want to get that out, you would use an iron oxide remover like Decon X. and then dry it off. Dry as you go. If you do scratch up the car, then you got to polish it. But a light clay towel and something with lubricity in it is going to be a really good clay and spray. That'll keep your car looking really good. How can I remove stubborn stains from my car's upholstery? So when you get a stain on your car's upholstery, I'm going to say be careful of what you use on it first. If you use something that's, really high pH, you can kind of lock the stain into that upholstery, and that's kind of not beneficial. I would start out with something like with Owner's Pride Eco Wash. Of course, it's pH 7. It's important if you're using a chemical in your car, whether it's on a carpet or a fabric, that if it has a pH that's more than 7, which is neutral, that you use something to neutralize that afterwards. So either you're flushing out with water or a rinsing agent. If you don't, that is when you guys have probably all seen this, when you clean a carpet and use like an all-purpose cleaner, or for goodness sakes a degreaser, and that carpet turns brown and kind of gets stiff and re-attracts dirt. That's nature trying to pull it back to 7, which is neutral. So make sure that you're flushing all of that out. That's probably the most important. So the next question here, that is from a DIY. Top 10 questions on Google. Is it necessary to polish my car after claying? It depends. Again, if we're doing that clay and spray where you're using a light clay towel and some ceramic detailer or slick or some kind of a detail spray that has a lot of lubricity in it, and you're lightly claying the car, you can clay that car effectively without having to polish it. If you do cause marring in it or you're using a stronger thing, then, well, by golly, you're going to want to polish that out because it's going to look like crap. How often should I wax or seal my car's paint? If you are using, all the way back in the days before ceramics and before ceramic sealants, I would tell people if we're going to do a clay and wax on your car every quarter. So every 3 months on a traditional wax. I feel that's a pretty fair time frame to keep something on there. Your waxes are going to kind of, melt off the car, or they're going to wear off of the car quicker. If you have a ceramic coating on your car, those come in, with different year term expectations, depending on the testing and the chemicals and the results that the company is selling it and standing behind. So those can come in either a 3, 5, or 7 or 9 year thing. So if you have a 7-year ceramic coating, you don't need to wax your car at all. What I would suggest, however, when I wash my own cars, which of course are all ceramic coated, I wash them with Eco Wash. I use either some slick or ceramic detailer. Sometimes I'm feeling a little crazy and I use some Ceramic Plus instead as a drying aid. I just think it's good to use some kind of a drying aid all the time on your car, or a sealant. Even if you've got a ceramic coating on there, just adding a little bit more protection is going to be good. That gives it that really nice, sexy glow. And that is how I take care of my own cars, by golly. So can't be steering you wrong if it's how I do it myself. And I know Mark's out there saying, one day I'm going to know if you ever send me what you keep telling me you're going to send me for years. And I say, Mark, man, I will. I really will. It's a goal. It's a goal. Okay. Let's see what's next. Let's move over to some of the professional detailer questions. What are the key steps to start a successful detailing business? We really covered the heck out of that in the beginning of this. How do I determine if my prices are right for my detailing services? This one, I think we talked about this in depth a couple weeks ago. Really important though. Just because somebody else is charging X amount of money for something that has no real relevance on what you're going to charge. I mean, just think when you go to the store and you see like a premium product that's placed right in front of your eyes. You got your lower priced products on the bottom. I don't know, for some reason a cola is coming to mind. Like you got your Coca-Cola here, you got your store brand cola down there. It's how you present yourself is going to be a part of the recipe of where you get to your prices. But even more than that, just because somebody else charges X amount of money for a job, that doesn't have any bearing really on you. You're going to sell the value of why. If you cost more money, then you sell the value of why you cost more money. You can go get a piece of dead cow at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, which is going to be a top end premium. You can go to a Sizzler, which is going to be lower, or like a hamburger joint. It's all a piece of dead cow, but how it's presented to you, the flavor of it, the tenderness, you want to, wherever you're establishing yourself to be that Ruth's Chris, then of course you're going to charge more money. But more than that, what's your cost of business and how much profit are you keeping for yourself? Way earlier, we talked a little bit about the profit and having that losing it a little right here at the end because my messages are blowing up. Meow, lost it all the way there. That was crazy. Let's see, what do we got here? What are the benefits of offering a ceramic coating? Well, in today's modern age of detailing, if you're going to start detailing, you want to offer a ceramic coating offering. It is just a much higher profit margin service because, if you look at it, the customer looks at it, if they get a ceramic coating, they don't have to get that car waxed every 3 months or so like we talked about with a traditional wax. So over time, they're going to save a whole bunch of money. For you, selling those jobs where you have more money coming in is just going to keep the engine running for you and absolutely you want to sell a ceramic coating offering. And if you're going to try to scale and grow your business, having paint protection film and tint is also going to be really, really good. Tint is more people get tint on their cars than they do detailing, ceramic coatings, and PPF all combined. It's just a great service that you have that's always going to have work coming in for you. And it's like pinball action, right? If somebody comes in for tint, they probably care about their car and you might be able to sell them something else. What are the best practices for managing a team of detailers? As we spoke about earlier, having an employee manual so people's expectations are set properly. They know how they're supposed to clock in and clock out, and what they're supposed to expect for vacations. And I look at Dustin's business because it used to be my business and he's grown the heck out of it, but he offers them medical and dental insurance, a retirement plan. Like he's got these people super, super, super set up. But also having those SOPs in place and having your expectations set out very clearly is going to be huge. Let's see. How do I stay updated on the latest detailing techniques and products? This is where going to the industry shows is really, really good. I know we have SEMA coming up. Owner's Pride is sitting out of SEMA this year because we are putting a lot of focus on Mobile Tech Expo in January and a few new programs that we're getting ready to launch. We're going to have a line of ceramic tint coming out real soon, and we have some more tricks up our sleeve that are going to be popping off in early springtime, late winter, that I'm super excited for. And we look at it, you got to look at it as ROI. I think that there is a better chance for us to grow this company and get to the next level by sitting out SEMA this year. And as I say that, I have been to SEMA 18 of the last 20 years. So it will be kind of weird not to go. Really will. Okay. We're almost done here, and then I got to jump off because I have many people that I wish were just coming on here and asking me the questions, but they are people that I take care of, and they are hitting me up with text messages. So the guys are in the middle of their workday still, and I need to help them. What software or tools can help streamline my detailing business operations? I'm going to say using a CRM system, and there's a couple that I'm going to kind of point out, and they come at very different cost levels, but they have a little bit of different functionality. One of them, Christian Turner from Million Dollar Detailer Academy, he's got a really cool system that he built. He white labeled this CRM and built all of this automation into it, and like it will send texts. Your AI bot thing will send text messages and it'll alert you when it's time for you to pick up the phone. Really, really cool. I know that a lot of guys, as we go right back to this, you're so busy that you can't do all of the stuff. Having something help you chase down some of the leads and close sales, automating it like that is really, really big. Also, we have Rode FS. Those guys are incredible. I really like Rod and Jody. Bonded really well with Rod a few months ago when we were in Denver. They have a really cool CRM system, and there's others out there too, but it's imperative that you do that. Imperative. That's probably the most important thing. You also want to be able to keep your finances. I'm not sure if any of these CRMs also do that, or if you have to pull in something from the outside like QuickBooks, which is what I used in my detailing business. And that's going to make life a lot better for you when it's time to go and do your taxes at the end of the year, if you're not just a mishmash of numbers and you have some structure. Let's see. The last question that I have here is, how do I ensure compliance with environmental regulations, especially for mobile detailing? Well, you know, that is going to be a lot dependent on where you live. So check your local laws and regulations. And as you're setting up and getting licensed for your business, this is probably going to be pretty obvious. You know, can you pour oil into a stream? Sure. But, you know, sometimes you really have to think of more than just yourself. I don't know if that's integrity or what it is. Don't be a sleaze bucket and just try to do things to get by and cheat the world. Play by the same rules that everybody else is playing by. Do things the right way. You know, we all have to live on the planet, so try to follow the rules that are already set up. And that is a super, super smart idea. Okay. Thank you so much. This was a little bit of a different one. If anybody, again, is interested in working with Owner's Pride, you can go to Owner's Pride, click on Become an Installer. You can join our Authorized Installer Network. I would love to work with you and help you grow your business. It is what gives meaning to my day, is helping people realize their true potential and grow their business. It's very, very rewarding. If you are interested in business coaching, it does not matter if you work for another company, because I do this on the outside. You can go to danwilliams.com, DANNWilliams.com, take your free business assessment. Even if you don't want to work with me, it's free. Go on there and it takes 5 or 10 minutes to answer some questions. What it's going to do is highlight the most basic, vital need in your business. And it's going to kind of let you know what you should be working on. Because again, most people's biggest problem in business is they don't know what their biggest problem is. So they're just kind of spinning their wheels, running around in a survival trap, putting out fires and never really leveling up. But if you can focus on that one thing, and if you can find somebody as a mentor to kind of help you work through some of those things, it's going to be an easier path to success. So everybody who joined me today, thank you so much. I really appreciate, even if you come on here for 2 or 3 minutes, like several people did, taking a couple minutes out of your day to hang out. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for being out there and for doing what you do. You guys are the hardest working people, and success for everybody across the board. Until next time, stay glossy.